Hi everyone, and welcome to today's session. So I'm Melissa Sibin from Happy Factory, and I am a people strategist. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about POPI. So POPI is South Africa's data privacy law, and it stands for the protection of personal information. And it governs how and when organizations would collect, how they would use, store, delete, and basically handle people's personal information. And many companies have started to put in measures, I know for many years, to comply or start to comply with the POPI Act. But now with remote working, the employee becomes responsible for making sure that they comply on behalf of the company. In my world of people strategy, it's about getting people to want to comply and then finding ways in which to ensure that they comply. And, playing big brother to watching employees work is definitely not an option. So it's about effective implementation and getting buy-in for your employees and your staff members. First, we need to understand what it is and what it means. So with me today, I have Tanya Vosloo from Sandenberg Vosloo Attorneys, and they are a legal service for the next generation. They also look at making sure that they put out bright ideas for out-of-the-box clients, and their vision is to be the most approachable law firm in South Africa. So who better than Tanya to give us some snippets from her upcoming POPI talk. So welcome, Tanya.
Hey, Melissa. Thank you so much for that introduction. Yes, so as you were saying, POPI is all about the privacy of personal information. So the Act sets out a bunch of things that companies need to comply with, and then they also say what happens when companies don't comply. So there are some hefty fines, and there's even some jail time for companies, and the persons that will be responsible at the end of the day are the directors of the companies and any employees that may have caused a breach. So people can be held responsible in their personal capacity as well as the company. So it's important for people to understand what exactly they need to do. How do they deal with personal information? How do they take care of it in such a manner that avoids any breaches or loss of personal information? And it's really, as you said, it starts with the employees and making them aware of their obligation, making them aware of what they need to do, ensuring that in a remote working environment like we have today, and as things become more online, that we make sure that everything we do is POPI compliant. So we've heard many websites selling you a POPI compliance certificate. It's just to let everyone know there's no certificate to make you POPI compliant. It's really a bunch of actions, and it's a checklist to ensure that every company out there is as compliant as they can be. And that's the process that we go through. We start the client with an audit, and we try and see where is possible risks for them. And at the end of the day, what we do is we mitigate their risk for any data privacy breaches, and in general, just how to deal with people's personal information. So we are doing a workshop on it, we're doing an awareness workshop, and then from there, we sell the clients some material, and we work through that material to make them POPI compliant.
Excellent. I think, from a people perspective, making sure that you explain to people in a way that they can understand what it means for them and the impacts to the company as well as, to themselves. And then also looking at engaging with them in a meaningful way to help them to comply is extremely beneficial in making sure that, number one, you get compliance, POPI compliant. And number two, that people become brand ambassadors. They want to help you or help companies actually make sure that they're not in the news, that they're not being, fined, and that they are overcoming their own barriers, because each person would have individual problems or challenges in how they would be adopting remote work. And you want to make sure that from a compliancy perspective and a legislation perspective, that people have some kind of avenue to almost overcome those barriers in how they're looking at implementing it. So I'm very excited to actually look at the masterclasses that you're offering, or the talks that you're offering, and then also to look at how, from a change perspective, we can implement that. And running just an hour's workshop with people, being able to engage with them, looking at what is the change, and then what does it mean for them, how is it going to impact them, and almost using a collective forum to say, this is how we as an organization is going to do this together. So really looking forward to having that. So I think just to quickly end off, will you give us one tip that people can start looking at now?
My one tip would definitely be passwords. I think in a remote working environment, and lots of employees are working now on their personal computers, just making sure that passwords are really good passwords. There's a very interesting website that says, I think it's the 100 worst and hackable passwords. And I think most of us have actually used some of those passwords. So definitely start with your passwords, your Wi-Fi network, your computer, those types of things, and your phone. Mostly because our phones link these days with our computers in terms of access and payments and all those types of things. So it's important for me to start at passwords.
Excellent. So how do people find you, Tanya?
They can go to our website. It's www.svlaw.co.za. You can find out details there. As we like to be the most approachable law firm in South Africa, my mobile number is there. I don't even know what my office number is, but you can find me there, and clients are welcome to contact me on my mobile number. Thank you.
Excellent, Tanya. And then my website is www.happyfactory.us, and you can also find me on Facebook. That's just Happy Factory. So thank you, everybody, for joining us.